Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the MonsoonSIM 2020 user conference. Let me start by showing you what are the changes in version 8. Okay, first is quick initialization to day 0. So I'm going to start by creating a new game, Hello World. I'm going to call it use conf demo. And I'm going to use one of the available configuration. I'm going to use Australia configuration. Okay, so run the game. And what I was trying to show you is this one, quick init day 0. So at any one time, so sorry, before I create anything, I'm just going to create two teams. Team 1, Team 2. You can see there's the team ID. I'm going to put two virtual players here and two players here. All right. So, so if I run this game, yeah, at any one time, I can simply initialize to 0 without stopping it. So I believe this is very useful for some of you who just wants to, go back to day 0 and show something, or perhaps there's a new student coming to the room, so you want to restart the game. So all you have to do is to type a yes here, and it will automatically stop and initialize to day 0. At which point you can continue to create your team, etc. Okay, so that's one. Secondly, is there's a new demo mode. So at any one time, let's say we start at day 0, we can start demo mode. So by starting a demo mode, we can do whatever we want. Let's say we start turn on a few modules, and we start this demo mode, and we run. Let's say, okay, and then we then go ahead and create some transaction, for example. Okay, do something here, and then when we are done with that, so look at this, there's a demo mode here showing up. So as a CT, I can show you the student screen, no problem, but all the student screen will be frozen, yeah, with the big demo mode showing up on their screen. So they would have to focus on your screen. So it's really good for teaching because the student would not be distracted, right? Their screen would be frozen. So as you have shown your concept, you've shown your little transaction, you have shown some reports, and you want to end it, simply come here and then end the demo mode. And it should bring you back to day 0, okay? And all the data would have been gone, would have been erased. So, and you can do this anytime, right? So let's say you're in day 5, you can get into demo mode, and the screen will be frozen, and then you can end the demo mode and come back to day 5, and your data will still be there. Yeah, so that's a demo mode. And third is the new location setting. This means, so let me just run this game from day 0. Make it quicker, just to show you some concept. You will see that in retail, you start with the location here, and it comes in the form of a map with 7 locations given for you to choose. So you do not have the fixed 3 locations as in 7.5, right? In version 8, you're free to choose where you want to set up your retail space. So let's say if I want to set up a retail space here, and I approve it, and I come back to the retail. Let's say I want to set up a retail space in Australia, in Hobart. I can do that, and I can also do another location here. Let's say, okay, so I have 2 locations, 3 locations altogether. Yeah, So the first, and this is the second and third. So now if I look at my retail location, there are 3 stores that I have set up. Okay. Now my competitors may or may not be there. So if they're not there, great, because I'll be enjoying a monopoly of the consumer in those markets. But who knows, right? So our competitors uh, will also have to make their decision. Okay. Now, if you look at this location, here are a number of attributes. Okay. So this population attributes, and then this group one, group two, group three. What does this mean, right? Group one, group two, group three. It means that these are the number of population that are divided into 3 groups. So altogether, there are about 12 million people. 1.2 million people in Adelaide. Okay, so these 1.2 million people, they are actually based on the recent survey. Yeah, so these numbers are pretty realistic anyway. So we break the population by random upon every initializations, so that they are broken up into 3 groups. Now you can call them group one, group two, group three, or you can assume group one, group two, group three is like your age group, or income group, whatever. It doesn't matter, or education level, doesn't matter, right? The point here is we have 3 groups of population. Now the idea is one of these group, okay, a particular group likes a particular product. Okay, so one particular group likes one particular product. So which means that group one may like melon juice the most. We don't know, right? That's something that the student have to find out through data analytics. Okay. But suffice to say at this point is that each location has the following attributes. Okay. This is steady. This is like constant. It has been decided for you based on certain attributes that we have collected based on realistic data, and we are sharing it with you. $40 per day for retail. Okay, and currently you have 150 meters. Okay, rental on a daily contract. So that's the idea of a location concept. Okay, now let me go back to this thing, new location setting. Now, which means that you can start with choosing location. Yeah. So when you play the game, start with choosing your location, like what we have done. So let's say I initialize game 0. I will show you how I could change those locations. So if you look at this location map, these are the seven locations that we have pre-selected for you based on this default. But if you choose to change one of these locations, you can go to general and go to this location. Yeah. And then you can say, okay, let's say you don't like Adelaide, and then you want to change it to another city that we have pre-approved. So let's say you go for Denpasar, Bali, then you just submit, and then you and look at the location map, and here you have Bali. Yeah. So Denpasar is here, and the rest of the 6 cities are here. So you can freely change this, yeah, but you can only change it upon initialization on the first day. Once you start the game, this cannot be changed. Okay. And then Parsar has the following attributes. Again, this population, this is pretty realistic, but this tree again is based on the actual population that are divided into 3 groups. Okay. So that is what that's how we come up with these numbers. All right. So then we go back to changes. Okay, so now we can have 3 retail stores as we have shown you. Okay, so if you like, if you run this, you can have 5 location as retail store and 2 of those as warehouse. Okay, so you have to, but the particular location can only be a retail or a warehouse. Okay, you cannot have both, because it's not that technically we cannot do that, but then it is going to become very complex as far as the playing. So we want to make it easier for the student to identify the area. So if certain location has been identified or has been chosen for retail, then the same team cannot use the same location as warehouse. Okay, the other team, it's up to the other team, of course. Okay, each team can make their independent decision. All right, so now go to point number 6. It can have more than one warehouses. So you have seen that earlier. We can have more than one warehouse. We can have 3, 4 warehouses. I don't know whether you want to do, have too many warehouses, but it's up to you. Yeah, but it's just that we have unshackled the limitation of having fixed warehouse and fixed location, fixed retail store. Okay, so next is faster retail price setting. What does it mean? Okay, it means that let me run this game so it will become clearer. I'm going to run this game for a few days. So I'm going to come here and select, let's say, this retail store. I'm going to get 200 meters and get 7-day contract with 20% discount. Okay, and so I'm going to set up a store in Denpasar. Okay, so let me just wait for the Denpasar to come in. Okay, now it came in. So now you will see that Denpasar will show up here. Okay, so I haven't got any inventory. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and buy some inventory. So procure some finished goods. Of course, now that I have Denpasar, it will show up here. But if I have more than one city, then I can select which city I want to send to. So say I want to buy 40,000 of each, okay? And use a cash delivery to Denpasar. Okay, so let's wait a while. Now, at the meantime, at the same time, I can look at my retails. So there is a table here, a running sales table that will show you every day. So day 3, you haven't got anything, right? You got a city, you got a location, but you haven't got any thing. Day 4 and day 5. So you have no sales, no unit sold, no daily marketing, no unit remaining. But soon I should have some. Once this transaction is completed, I should see okay, so here are the products that have come in, right? So 3 products have come in and they have already been sold, and now I'm generating sales, retail sales. So you have this, running table of sales, right, based on the location. So it's easier for you to manage your pricing also. So if I want to change my price, all I have to do is to change it here. Okay, so in 7.5 it's a pop-up, but here it's just a row-based on inline clicking. So there you go, you have changed the price. So it's easier to change the price. Now you can look it back, and then you see that the price has been changed, right, from 26 to 28. Okay, so day 9 it was 26, but day 10 it was 28. So you can further change this if you like to. So here you go. This is what we call by running sales table. Okay, so there you go, sales pricing and this running sales table. Now then, okay, then what is inventory running table? Same thing with the inventory. You have to look at the warehouse now. So in warehouse, suppose I turn on warehouse, and then I'm going to set up my warehouse. Okay, I'm gonna wait a day. There you go. I'm going to warehouse location. Okay, so I've got a retail store. Now I want to set up my warehouse in Hobart, of course at the much lower rent. And here's my warehouse. So if I look at my warehouse, there you go. So I have retail store here and warehouse here. See? So if I buy some product to my warehouse, let's say 80,000, 80,000, 80,000. Okay, so approved it. Then you will notice that I do have a new thing in version 8 which called the inventory running table. Okay, so it's just like the sales running table. Now we have the inventory running table, and this is where so it shows you all the inventory of your retail store as well as your warehouse. So this is your retail store, and then if you click again, your warehouse inventory should come in because you just made a big purchase. So let's just wait 1 or 2 days because you can see that the transaction list is still on. Nope, it's not in yet. I suppose I need to extend this a few days. So I'm going to let it run until day 30. And let's continue our demonstration. Okay, here we go. So the warehouse 80,000 is already in. So same thing, you can see the same 80,000 here, right? And this is your running the latest Pasar inventory, and this is your latest Hobart inventory. So now with this inventory sale running table, it's easier for you to do the move, right, without having to do the pop-up. So now you can say, okay, I want to move, let's say this much product from to Hobart, or I can do this much product, this many product to Denpasar. Okay, so it's moving is a lot easier because then you just choose where you want to ship to, right? If I have more than one retail, then I would be able to pick either Denpasar or let's say the Sydney, right? And so on. So now I'm going to just ship here and prove it, and then you can see that I do have a move list show up here. So this is my move from Hobart to Denpasar. All right. So that's how we do the move. So it's easy from the inventory table. You just do your move. Okay. Set the location and just hit the submit. Okay. So that's inventory on the table. Easier to ship. You have seen this. Easier to auto replenish. So this is also easier. So for example, here I want to do auto replenishment. Notice all I have to do is to select how many I want. Let's say I want to, if this quantity falls below 8,000, sorry, right? This quantity falls below 8,000, I want to ship, replenish 2,000, right? Or, decrease it. Replenish from which warehouse? So replenishment is always from warehouse to the retail store, right? So if the retail store's product, apple juice, when the quantity falls less than 8,000, then I'm going to ship 5,500 from Hobart. Okay, so that's how I do my replenishment. Okay, so this is what I've set. Okay, and now it shows up in your transaction list. Okay. Here we go. So this is what it is. That's my auto replenishment. Now it has been scheduled. Scheduled day is 27. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so this is the old move that hasn't been completed. So it will come into it will be completed. Okay, because I haven't got enough. So I'm sure if I look here, it's delivered 24, so it takes a long time. It does take a long time for Hobart to send to be shipped to Denpasar. Okay, so if you wait long enough, it'll happen. Okay, so then we go to set marketing expense. So let me turn on marketing. There you go. It's already turned on. I'm going to turn on forecast anyway. So in marketing, similarly, so you go to set marketing expense, and this is where you set your expenses in retail, right? So for Denpasar, you want to select media A. Let's say you want to put in so much money, and media B, you want to put in so much money, and media C, you want to put in so much money. Okay, submit. Oh, the game is stopped. So let me just continue. Run for another up to 50 days, and redo the marketing. Okay, so suppose I want to invest this much, this much, and this much, and I submit. Okay. All right. So now suppose I have two locations of retail store, then again everything works the same way. In your marketing, you will just have two choices. Which area you like to ship from. You just wait for the location to come. There you go. So now I can choose Denpasar and then Brisbane. Okay, so you can just go ahead and select this, how much you want to invest in marketing. All right, so that's your marketing. View marketing report. So there's a new marketing report. Let me just go ahead and buy the report. Okay, just wait for 1 day. In the meantime, I can look at the report, and this is the report. It says that I haven't got any marketing report, therefore I haven't got any information here, right? So these are the 7 locations. Now, suppose my report has come in. Let's just wait a bit. Okay, I think the report has come in. If I look at the transaction list, yeah, the report has come in. Report arrived on day 25 at 35. So if I look at my report, there you go. So I can see who are there, right? So if I have my competitor and their icon is different color, yeah. So if I have red here and blue here and another green here, then I have, 2 other competitors. Otherwise, if I'm alone, I can see myself here, and these are the places where I have my presence with a little icon, the black icon, the black icon here. Okay. I can see the unit sold, so I've got 100% market share. Retail sales also, market share also, and so on. Okay. And so now it is, this you can see this running table from the last 10 days. Yeah, the market report is always for the last 10 days. Okay, day 2025. All right, so that's marketing report. Now, another thing is you can see multiple, marketing reports. So suppose I make another purchase, then I will have 2 marketing reports, yeah? So let's wait for it to come in and we will see. Okay. Okay, so that's only one marketing report. It's from day 25 to day 35. Let's see if I have the other one. The other one hasn't come in yet. Okay, so it has come in on day 41. So let's look at the marketing report. There you go, 31 to 41. So I can choose whether I want to look at the old report from 25 to 35. Okay, that's the old report, 25 to 35. Or I want to look at the latest report, which is from, what do you call that? For 31 to 41. Okay, 31 to 41. So, and then you can see that the area, you can see which team. So team 2 has a retail store here, and warehouse here. Now team 1 may have a different outcome than team 3 and team 4, etc. Yeah, so it's very important now in version 8 for the learners to learn to pick up the intelligence from the marketing report. Okay. Financial report now can be filtered by date. So now the financial report can also be filtered by date. So if I look at my profit and loss, for example, this is the profit and loss, the current one. But if I want to look back and I say, okay, what happened to the profit and loss on day 43? And so this is the different number, yeah, 121 net profit compared to the latest one, which is 49, which is 302. Okay, so you can filter and then you can download them as a CSV. Then there is something called transaction table. Okay, here in the past it's called PO list. So that's where you can see all the PO. But as you can see, there's not just PO that we want to track sometimes. So it's like our pricing changes, our marketing expenses, and who does what, and so on. It's all collected here. It's called transaction list. So, for example, I can look at my transaction list. I can see who bought my marketing report on what day and so on, and I can also see who started the rental and who started the auto replenishment scheduling, and who moves stocks and so on, and who did finished goods purchase. So it's all pretty clear. I can do some investigation here and see who did what, right, when. Now, there's also a very powerful search. You can say, okay, I want to see just who bought marketing report, right? So these are the two marketing report that we bought. And then we can see who bought per finished goods. So I can see who bought finished goods and when. Okay. So it's nice to have this transaction, and I can also see who, based on the person who triggers this. So let's say MSIM does this and so on. We can also based on cancel, which transaction has been completed or which is being approved, okay, and so on. So that's the transaction table. Now, moving on is improve business intelligence. This is quite simple. You click this, and then, for example, you select any of this. Let's say cost of goods sold. You will see that there is there's a quantity being shown here, right? The data value is being shown. So it's easier for if you look at if you want to let's say price and so on. Let's say finance and cash on hand. So you can see that the numbers here, right? Easier. Okay. So now let's continue on B2B allocation. So here is in the B2B allocation. So let's just turn on B2B and just continue the game for a few days, and I'm going to stop at day 70. So now if I go to B2B, let's just wait a bit. There you go, B2B, and look at my offer, and I'll do a deal. Notice that now I have to do manual allocation, right? In 7.5, things are being allocated for you, but now we have multiple warehouse and so on, and we can allocate from anywhere. It doesn't have to be warehouse, so I can allocate from Denpasar, let's say, 6,000 unit. I can also combine it with 6,000 unit from here, and then the rest come from here. I can do my allocation from here, so it's more realistic, yeah, and it's also more practical because in many companies we are still relying on human to make this decision, right? Which where do I ship from? Because it's sometimes I do have a lot to consider before I do the allocation. Okay, so manual allocation just like the e-commerce sales. Okay, so that's the manual allocation. Okay, repeat orders. Repeat orders is, for example, if you have this, let's say I want to search for all my finished goods product. Where's my finished good purchase? Okay, now there's a repeat here. So if I want to repeat, I just simply click and submit. And then I have to do the approve. That's it. Okay, so that's my repeat order. Okay, that's repeat order. And then vendor that imports. Okay, here are the supported currency. So we support the following currency. What does it mean, right? It means that if we look at the one of the vendors, for example, uh, okay, here's the vendor. You can set it as an importer. So if I set this as an importer, okay, notice my local currency is Aussie dollar and my foreign currency is US dollar. So if this importer VFG1 is an importer, now if I want to buy something from him, from this guy, where am I? Let's say I want to buy from retail for my retail store. Notice that the price is now being quoted in US dollar, right? And the exchange rate is pretty accurate. I mean, it's pretty realistic now. All right. So you don't set this because it's based on our API. It's getting it from the market. So now you can see that the exchange rate is US dollar is obviously higher than Aussie dollar. So 15 Aussie dollars equivalent to about $9 US dollars. So if I want to buy from BFG1, let's say, and if I turn on, let me just turn on a Kuro just to show you you will see the impact of having a US dollar. Okay, accrual accounting. So if I buy from Denpasar from VFG1, and let's say I buy 80,000 worth of US dollars worth of goods, and I do immediately delivery, you see I'm getting it quoted on US dollar, right? Now at this point, the US dollar is having a fixed exchange rate with Aussie dollar at the current moment. But when I pay this, because this is accrual, you can see that when I book it, let's take a look at when the product comes in. You will see that when the product come in, you'll see that I have a transaction booked in my accounting based on this exchange rate, but I'm going to record it in Aussie dollar. Okay, so let's just wait a bit. Okay, it's completed. So now I should have generated account payables. No, why? So let's have a look. Okay, I did a cash transaction, so doesn't matter because it will be in Aussie dollar anyway. So there's no foreign gain or loss. So let me just do another purchase so that you know what we mean. If we do, let's say we buy from this vendor, but now I'm going to use credit purchase. Yeah, immediate delivery, credit purchase. Okay, so there is a 5-day terms of payment here. Let's just submit this. This one, this time is not cash on delivery, but there's a term of payment of 5 days. There you go. So now I am about to pay this guy, the FG1, this much money in Aussie dollar, right? So my US dollar multiplied by this was based on exchange rate book of this. So now I have ended up with this much Aussie dollar that I book in my accounting. But when I pay, I may have a different exchange rate. So that's where I get my foreign exchange gain, or foreign exchange loss. Yes, it depends on this foreign exchange, right? Whether it's going up or down. So it looks like there's going to be a movement. And look at where I bought it. When I registered, it was ish 72, and I'm settling on day 70 plus 5 days, 77. Okay, so between 72 and 77, let's look at our foreign exchange. 72 2 and 77, so it looks like there is a gain there, which means that we are going to incur a loss. Yeah, so there you go. So when I book it on day 72, the exchange rate was 1.63, but when I paid 5 days later, uh, I have to pay this much. So that means the difference of this will become my forex loss. So if I look at my operating expense, you can see that I do incur a, where's my forex loss? Okay, so this is day 39. Clear this. Okay, there you go. I have a forex loss of 15,000. Okay, so that is my foreign exchange loss because of the currency movement from day 70 to 70, 72 to 77. Okay, so it's only apparent when you turn on the what do you call it, the accrual system. Okay, so it's good for our learners to learn about forex gain, forex loss, and also the impact of currency changes towards our profit, our bottom line. Okay, so that's vendor the import. Then that goes along with forex gain, forex loss. Then as a CT, I also can have a new location observation. So as a CT, back to the CT, when I do the observation, now I have a new icon here, right? I can also look at observation. Zoom allow or not allow, it doesn't matter. So there you go. So that's my observation. And I can also see who set up shops where, yeah? So that's a new observation. Improve game final report. Let me just show you the final report. I'm going to stop the game now and let it run, and then I'll show you the final report. Meanwhile, I can also show you what active guides for the learner. So there are a number of, if you look at here, there's a lot of little icon here with this is like the life-saving uh, what do you call that, lifeguards. Yeah, they use this for life saving. Anyway, if you click this, they will come up with a lot of YouTube videos, okay, for the learners. At this point they're not there yet, but eventually they will be. There will be a lot of the how, for example, like this one. So the student can just click and see. Now if you don't want the student to see this, then you can turn it off. Right, where you turn it off is here. So you can say the active guide not allowed. You can change this. In the meantime, of course, as a CT, you will see all the active guides here. There you go. You see all the active guides here. Okay. Uh, and some of the active guides are not for the learners, but most of them are for the learners. So as a CT, it's good to look at this first by yourself before you allow your student to look at it. Okay. So when you allow it, then the student will see this. So that's what we call active guide. Now I'm going to go back to the final game report and show you what I mean. Go to the my document, you do a game report. Let's say you select all this report. um, I'm not going to set any name. I'm just going to let it run, and this is the final report. Okay, so the final report will contain okay, this is the same, the configuration of the game, and then you will see this location, the location of which team has what. R being a retail store, W being the warehouse. Okay, and then this is also, so it's in landscape mode as opposed to a portrait in the past, and we also have thrown in balance sheet as well as profit and loss. Okay, so improve game report, active guide for learner, we've just went through that, and now we have new data analytics live access, and this is very very exciting. It's the new feature. You see, so let me just turn this off. When you're done, okay, when your game is stopped, you can have a live access data analytic. Now let's go to the traditional, the data analytic as we know it. It's something we know that we can just KPI export to CSV. Yeah, so we can export the KPI, for example, this, and click here and give it a name. Let's say this is like COGS, and then you will get this. Yeah, so you can downloadable and you can open it in a CSV file. Now then we have these two new menus here. Yeah, okay, and what is live data table? These are the tables that you can give it to your student. So notice this com means common. Okay, so we have a common table called client, common table called forecast retail, common table called location, common table called product, common table called vendors. And then we have this inventory table, and then the marketing table, and then the procurement table for each of the teams. So for example, team 99129, who is 99129? There you go. 99129 is team one. So for each team, they will have their own set of tables. Okay, so this team has how many tables? Four tables. Okay, and the other team has four tables. Okay, and this city also has four tables. So what does it mean? It means that the city one is actually a summation or a combination of the two teams. Okay, so this is actually a union of this table and this youth and this table. Okay, so it's a combination of these two tables. And the marketing, this city marketing is actually a combination of this and this. So if you want to look at the certified trainer table, then you'll see all the all the teams data. But if you only want to look at per team, then you'll see the per team data table. Okay, and why do we break the table up like this? And the reason is because we have this access, so we can set the user access. Once we do that, see these are the access that you need to give to access the tables. Okay, so this is the host number, the database, the user number, and the password. If you have this, then you can uh, use Excel or Tableau or Power BI or SPSS or Cognos, what have you, to access the table, to access these tables. Okay, if you give them the city password, then they will look at the city table. They will look at this city table plus the common table. Okay, but if you give them the uh, the the credential for one of the teams, for example 99129, then using this credential they can only access this 99129 table. Okay, the data. So that is what we mean by live access. Okay, so the data is now available for you to do data analytics, and so is so now sometimes you want to show the student the whole password and let them do the analysis based on the overall data. So you give them this password. Otherwise, you can give them these two password. Now sometimes it's not good to just show them the password. Then what you do is to select this and mail the learners the password. So each of the learners will receive an email giving them this particular credential, and then they can log in and do their own analysis. All right. So that's what we have mean by live access. And there's a subscription status. You can see that the subscription is until November 6th, November 7th this year. Okay. So that's live access. And then now we have this new Club ELO rating. This means that we're gonna support the clubs. Each club will have their own ELO, and ELO is something that you can actually search if you go for Wikipedia ELO rating. You can read all about it. It is a very is a standard rating system that has been used by many sports and so on to determine the relative strength. Okay, um, of different parties. Okay, normally it's between 1 to 1, but here we have modified slightly to support a team structure. So we have our own slightly modified ELO rating system. Okay, so at the end of the day, we will start each of our game of our club with 1500 rating, and then let's see. Over time, some will fall below 1500, some will be go above 1500, and then those who go way above will be considered very good. Okay, and those fall below, well, they need to catch up basically. So let me just give you a few example. Okay, now suppose this club 100 starts with ELO 1500, club 101, so they all start with the same rating. Now after one game, okay, based on the scoring metrics, this is the results, right? So 100 is 100, 102 is 30, and 101 is bankrupt, let's say. So which means that 102 is in the middle, so the ranking remains the same. So the ELO is unaffected. So 102, the rank at the end of this game, this is the new ELO rating. Okay, the winner 100 will get a bump of 8 points, and the loser will get reduced by 8 points, and the middle one unchanged. Okay, so that's one example. The second example is, say this one is, we start with all four clubs starting with the same ELO, and after one game, okay, there's some winners, some losers, and then we'll see that 100 being a winner here, we got bombed by +8. 101 is the loser. Okay, it's losing here, so it's -8. And then 103 is +8 because 103 is winning also. So the two winners will get bump of +8, and the two losing parties will reduce by 8. This one, okay. Now the third example is, here we have one game by clubs, and they have a different ELO rating to begin with. So this guy obviously is very strong because he has collected a ELO rating. He has accumulated 2,300 points. So, and then we have this guy 1,009 and so on. So after one game, let's suppose this is the result. Yeah. So these are the winning teams and this is the losing teams. And then you look at the winning team, 100, because 100 came from 1,500, very low base. So because there's some very strong player here, so he got bumped not by 8 points as we saw earlier, but this one is bumped by 15 points. Okay, because the overall strength is very high. Okay, compared to this guy. For the last stream, the overall strength is 1,500. Now the overall strength is way more than 1,500. So if you win, then you manage to score more point. Same thing with this guy, 151905. He also gets score, but not as high as this guy because he comes from very low base, 1,500. Okay, whereas you look at 102, because they're losing, 102 is starting from 2,350 because he loses this game. So now they are going to get bumped by minus 16 point. Okay, so it's a huge penalty because they're losing to a much lower rated player. Okay, whereas this guy, he only lost by 1 point. Okay, because because the overall strength is very high. So being a losing team in this particular game doesn't hurt them that much. Only lose by 1 point. Okay, so that's ELO rating. Okay, so basically we have come to the end of our presentation of version 8. Just a final thought, right? So what are the similarities of these three? Yeah, a slide rule, abacus, and a flow chart of some kind of software. What do they have in common, right? And really is that they're all about the how of things. Yeah, it's a how to do certain things. It's also how to measure certain things, how to calculate certain numbers, and this is also how to do certain process, right? So it's based on a certain a product, for example, right? Uh, and the danger of this is that they are unappealing to the millennials, and it's always evolving, and they're the first to die when technology transforms. Yeah, so when technology comes around, this how, if you teach students the how of the things, they will become irrelevant very soon, right? Because like who needs to know how the slide rule works now, right? Nobody need to know it because it's already changed by technology. Same thing, right? We don't need to learn this, okay? And we don't need to learn this because technology has changed the way we do things. So whatever we learn, how we do the payment, why we need to submit certain department for some approval, and so on and so on, that has changed because the technology has made it irrelevant, right? So as a final thought, I would like to say that MonsoonSIM is really focusing on the why side of business and less on the how. So if you look at MonsoonSIM, we always focus on, uh, the concept. Yeah. So as the learner learn the concept, they understand the why. Then it's easier for them to learn the how part later on when they go into the industry.